Thank you, everybody. My name is Biswaroop. My only qualification of being here is I'm ex-youth. All right. So roughly 20, 25 years ago, I was a young man, and when this topic was sent to me, I clearly could figure out there are just three keywords here. So first, we will talk about youth. I mean, a large chunk of the audience is young here. So when we talk about youth, and then the theme of the talk is Mastishk, mind. It is really almost two ends of the world. So the question is, are youth really different? So whenever we talk about youngsters, and again, I'm not trying to stereotype anybody here, youth is impulsive. भाई रात के 3 बजे ड्राइव पे चलना है. Only a youngster would say कि चलते हैं, right? Rebellious, अरे यार आज क्लास बंक मार देते हैं. ऑफिस बंक बहुत टफ हो जाता है, राइट? देन ऑफ कोर्स गलिबल. तेरे को पता है मेरे पड़ोस की आंटी के लड़के ने क्रिप्टो करेंसी में 2 लाख रुपए लगाए, 2 करोड़ हो गए, अपन भी लगा लेते हैं. कहाँ से लाएंगे यार? क्रेडिट कार्ड घिस देते हैं, राइट? Experimental. Let me not talk about hair colors and tattoos and other such. Yes, right? And of course, brave. कौन इंसान अपने लॉजिकल दिमाग में दारू पी के बिना हेलमेट के बाइक चलाता है? कौन? Who is that guy? And best part, insurance भी नहीं है, right? So that is what the youth is all about, right? These are things typically you would not associate with the man of my age. So from 16 to 24 is what the ideal youth period is for anybody. It could be a teenager, a young adult, or trying to achieve actual youth, all right? So fundamentally, the only thing which is actually making people or youngsters behave in the way they behave is your brain, all right? I'm not a brain scientist, but fundamentally, हमारा brain का जो front part होता है, that's called the prefrontal cortex. Till the age of 25, 26, your brains are not 100% developed. They are still developing. And that is where youth and randomness, youth and gullibility, youth and innocence is actually a byproduct of evolution. 1,50,000 years ago, there was nothing called as finance. There was not even a concept of my personal space or my personal identity. We have evolved as humans. Today we are at the cutting edge. We're in the 21st century and we're looking at really, really fascinating developments. But our brain has refused to grow and adapt as much. We will still behave as what our predecessors used to behave 1,50,000 years ago. All right? तो ये ध्यान में रखना कि भाई प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स मेरा डेवलप हो रहा है. बट प्री फ्रंटल कॉर्टेक्स डेवलप होने के बाद होता क्या है? दैट इज वेयर डेटा ड्रिवन रैशनल डिसीजनिंग स्टार्ट्स कमिंग इनटू आवर लाइव्स. So for you to be able to take data driven decisions, the first thing you need is data. What kind of data do you need? Multifaceted experiences. And that is where youngsters are supposed to be impulsive, are supposed to be random, are supposed to be experimental, rebellious, all right? So while the prefrontal cortex is developing, we are actually at the highest sense of our responsiveness to broadly three things. Rewards. School में certificate मिलता था, we used to feel amazing, right? Emotions. Everybody remembers the first crush, पहली बार जब प्यार हो गया था, the intense emotions that you go through. And of course, experiences, good, bad, ugly. The first time you went to Walt Disney, maybe Disneyland or Appu Ghar or whatever, SL World, you vividly remember that because that was the first time you had that experience, all right? Now comes the question of money, all right? We are all born, luckily, if you're born into good families, our parents take care of our upbringing completely. Till when? Till comes that one particular age, maybe around 10, 11 years old, where you first ask your parents कि पापा मुझे pocket money मिलेगा क्या? And then papa's first question, क्यों? तेरे को जीवन में क्या कमी है? You make your story and it begins with, it began with $100 for me. I don't know आजकल के youngsters को कितना मिलता है, right? And then you're still in school and then you go to high school and then you go to college. Till your education is continuing, you have a physical caretaker, a mental caretaker, most importantly, a financial caretaker, right? If I talk about my story, B school, last semester, last day, तब तक my dad was my financer, pocket money, जितना भी मिलता था. Cut to the next day, I joined my company, and from there, suddenly, my only thing that has changed is the source of income. Evidently, salary is slightly bigger than a pocket money, but Now it is my money. Now I'm supposed to use that money for whatever I was doing when my dad was giving me my money. तो होता क्या है is throughout our upbringing we are taught numerous things, moral values, how to deal with people, how to deal with failure, how to deal with success. Somewhere very basics of money management, which is a very very critical and important life skill, is not drilled into our psyches when we are forming our rational brain. All right, so isko some scientists conducted a experiment. There were three categories of people. There were kids, there were young adults, and then there were mature adults like me. They were trying to figure out that what part of the brain gets excited with rewards. When I say you're very open and responsive to rewards and recognitions and achievements and experiences, एक चीज ब्लैंकेट तरीके से ट्रू है फॉर एनी ह्यूमन. इफ यू फीड दैट ह्यूमन शुगर, some parts of his prefrontal cortex starts getting excited because there is this hormone called dopamine that gets secreted. Dopamine, as we all know probably, is the happiness hormone. You feel happy, मजे आ गए, right? So this test was done. बच्चों को शुगर पिलाया गया, यंग एडल्ट्स को शुगर पिलाया गया, सीनियर्स को, मिडिल एज एडल्ट्स को शुगर पिलाया गया. Kids were like excited, adults were like excited. For some reason, young adults were like hyper excited. Okay? Scientists were like, okay, फिर से करो test. Same thing. Then they said, there is, on one end is sugar, everybody loves sugar, and on the other end is money, everybody loves money. Let us replicate the same experiment. छोटे बच्चे को पैसा दिया, excited. Middle aged आदमी को पैसा दिया, excited. Teenage को पैसा दिया, super excited. Right? That is where they realized कि, oh, it is like a drug. The triggers in our brain is very similar to what a drug would trigger a sense of happiness and satisfaction. All right. So the moment one realizes that money, is it a living thing? It is a man-made thing. It is a non-living thing, but it is very, very important. How do youngsters train their brains to look at money so that they are able to utilize it towards their benefit and do not fall into the obvious traps? All right. So let's get slightly personal here, guys. Anybody here in this room who does not like money or does not want truckloads of money? सबको पैसा तो चाहिए. Then comes the natural question, कितना पैसा चाहिए? This is something which I ask a lot of youngsters. क्या करेगा इतना मेहनत करके? This, that. Sir, पैसा तो चाहिए. कितना चाहिए? No limit, right? There is no limit. Infinite amount of monies can be gathered. क्यों चाहिए becomes the most important thing. Why do you need so much money? So if you were to look at it, why do we need money? It is actually to buy time. The only thing which all of us have in limited quantity on this planet is time. एक ना एक दिन हमारा time आ जाएगा. Until then, such illustrious people here on this platform, we today know them, we respect them, we acknowledge them, is because they are pursuing their passions primarily because they do not need to bother whether कल मेरा rent कौन भरेगा और परसों मैं खाना कहाँ पे खाऊंगा. So that is the ideal state of freedom that us as human beings should be in a position to experience, right? I'm not here to really debunk the follow your passion and फिर देखो क्या होगा theory, because I have also done the same. It has worked wonders for me. At the same time, I so wish I knew certain things when I was 20 or 25 that even today, if I were to say कि बस यार, I want to hang up my boots and sit in Goa and have a daiquiri, मेरे को कोई tension नहीं होना चाहिए. All right? So when we talk about money, many people say कि sir, basic needs are very important. So meet my man, Abraham Maslow, one of the most legendary economists in the world. And this grid, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is something which is all pervasive. So सबसे नीचे है हमारा physiological need and safety need. As a species, we need to ensure the safety of our species, and then therefore the survival will happen. And their basic needs, they will get fulfilled. I'm sure in this room, nobody is ever going to die hungry or sleep cold or even worry कि कोई एक ऐसा दिन आएगा. But the moment you start moving upwards, and I was saying, why do we need money? We need to have control over time. We could do whatever we want to do with our time. वो सबसे ऊपर है. Self-actualization, self-fulfillment. मेरा लाइफ है, मेरे को जो करना मैं करूँगा, बिकॉज मेरे पास मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स पड़े हैं, आई डिड नॉट बॉदर, राइट? इन बिटवीन are the psychological needs on the theme of our talk today, Mastishk, belongingness and love and esteem. Now, everybody needs to belong somewhere, to some creed, to some family. Everybody needs love. Everybody needs esteem. Society में मेरी इज्जत होनी चाहिए. I might have arrived, and so on and so forth. And where do these needs emerge? The psychological needs, आपका मस्तिष्क आपके अंदर ये भावनाएं जगाता है, right? Now, as a professional marketeer, there are two things that as marketeers we often intend to do. The first thing that we intend to do is catch them young. मेरा ग्राहक, I have to catch him young. Why? अभी बताया ना, तुम लोग का ब्रेन अभी फॉगी है, तो तुम लोग को अगर मैं किसी तरीके से हुक कर पाया, you will be with me lifelong, and I will do my business, I'll feel happy. All right? So, and then, if these needs are not met, if you're not getting that dopamine hit, if you're not feeling happy, you will feel desperate and you will be forced to fill that gap. I know it sounds evil that marketeers ये सब कर रहे हैं हमारे साथ, but as a youngster, if I knew that, so basically the only formula for becoming wealthy, rich is a different story, wealthy is just differentiate what are needs and wants. ये सारे needs ही हैं, right? Needs for food can be fulfilled with 2 rotis also, cannot be fulfilled with the most luxurious pizza also. The need for security can be felt on the lap of your mother also, cannot be filled through a Z security setup also. Because those needs, satisfaction is actually a chemical reaction happening in your head where you are being told by your mind that satisfied, happy, right? Another thing which is typical of today, modern era youth, is over exposure to information. 24/7, you are digital natives. हमें एक दिन वेट करना पड़ता था अखबार में कोई ऐड देखने के लिए. हमें शाम को टीवी के रात को 8 बजे कुछ बजेगा तो उसमें कोई ऐड दिख गया तो पता चलता ही, ओ दिस इज हाउ कपिल देव इज सेइंग मेन शुड लुक लाइक एंड देयरफॉर मेन शुड लुक लाइक दिस. यहाँ पे हम लोग एज प्रोफेशनल मार्केटियर्स और बिजनेसमैन कॉन्शियसली और अनकॉन्शियसली एक यंग माइंड के बायसेस के साथ खेलते हैं. वी लिटरली प्ले. लेट मी गिव यू सम एग्जांपल्स. सो व्हाट इज अ कॉग्निटिव बायस? दिस इज समथिंग which has been embedded in our DNA. Do you really need to tell a young kid कि बेटा आग में हाथ मत लगा? So that is a cognitive bias that the child has in its head since young age, and it is geared towards survival, right? So there are numerous such cognitive biases, but we will talk only about money. So one of the most popular cognitive bias that us as marketeers use is the anchoring effect. अब ये एक लेदर जैकेट है, ये 5,000 रुपए का है. कितने लोग खरीदेंगे? डिपेंडिंग ऑन वेदर यू नीड इट और नॉट. अब मुझे आपके कॉग्निटिव बायस के साथ खेलना है. ऑलराइट, ये इंफॉर्मेशन मैंने दे दिया. सेम जैकेट 10,000 रुपए का था, अब मात्र 4,999 रुपए का है. अब कितने लोग खरीदेंगे? Obviously, lot of people. So what has happened there is I have anchored a high price and I have reduced the value, and the same amount I'm charging. That Bata pricing 4,999, 1 rupee lesser than 5 grand, right? Similarly, there's a decoy effect. ये 100 रुपए का है, ये 300 रुपए का है. कौन सा बोतल ज़्यादा महंगा है? Obvious. अब ये 100 रुपए का है, ये 300 रुपए का है, ये 500 रुपए का है. अब कैसा लग रहा है? 300 रुपए वाला बोतल ठीक है. मूवी देखने जाते हो ना, पॉपकॉर्न वाले यही खेलते हैं. ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट टाइम फिगर आउट कौन तुम्हारे कॉग्निटिव बायस के साथ खेल रहा है. द कॉस्ट ऑफ जीरो. ओह, आई डोंट नो व्हाट हैपेंस इन आवर ब्रेन्स व्हेन वी सी जीरो और फ्री, राइट? सो एज मार्केटियर्स वी आर ऑलवेज टोल्ड कि भाई ये देख 2,000 रुपए का प्रोडक्ट, शिपिंग फ्री. ठीक लग रहा है? ठीक ही लग रहा है. ओके. 1,000 रुपए का प्रोडक्ट, 1,000 रुपए की शिपिंग, कितना? सेम, 2 grand. अब देखो, प्रोडक्ट फ्री, 2,000 रुपए का शिपिंग, कौन सा खरीदोगे? राइट? सो This is nothing new. This has been happening since mankind has evolved, and we keep on playing. Now, the only cognitive bias which as youngsters you should probably very seriously think about is, एक ये option देता हूँ कि any youngster here, I'll give you 1 crore today or 2 crores after a year. What will you take? 1 crore today, because our brains are wired in a manner that we need instant gratification. First thing, it heralds back to the era where we were hunter gatherers. आज hunt नहीं किया तो खा ही नहीं पाऊंगा, तो आज ही दे दो यार. We are not in a position to mentally decide कि यार actually 1 साल patience रख लूंगा तो पैसा double हो जाएगा. We are wired to think like that. All right. Similarly, अगर मैं ये बोलता हूँ 1 crore after a year or 2 crores after 1 year and 1 week, then what will you do? So if your gratification can be extended to some time, you will actually end up making more rational choices when it comes to money. All right. So hyperbolic discounting is something which every youngster ends up doing mentally. यार पिज्जा मत खा लूंगा, I'll be healthier. So mentally we always project our futures to be much better and much more unrealistic, and our present to be far more desperate and far more unrealistic in the negative sense whenever we are taking financial decisions. All right. So yeah, this is a very interesting topic. Finally, finance. Youngsters, remember just simple 3 formulas that is the way to make money. Income minus expense is equal to saving. सबको पता है. आपके expense income से ज़्यादा हैं तो आपसे नहीं हो पा रहा है. Savings कर लेना is not the beginning of it or the end of it. Your savings need to grow more than inflation. And finally, compound interest. सबने maths में formula पढ़ा है. The power of compound interest. Numerous content available on the internet. Enter early. You are young. Enter early and stay long. 25 years you enter. By the time you're 35, you will have so much money, you not need to slog till you are 60. The second thing, delay your gratification. सब कुछ आज होने लग जाएगा, तो maximum value नहीं मिलेगा. Finally, Bruce Lee का एक statement है, the legendary martial artist. I'm not afraid of a person who knows 10,000 different punches. I'm afraid of that person who knows one punch 10,000 times. That is the power of compounding. All right. So your behavior, how you behave with money, is far more than how much you know about money. All right. An ounce of character is more than a pound of skill. Thank you so much, people.